I met her on a Thursday evening, the kind of evening that feels too beautiful to waste indoors but too quiet to expect anything extraordinary from. I wasn't expecting her. I wasn't expecting anyone, really. Life had been predictable for a long time. Work, gym, home, scrolling endlessly through social media, convincing myself I was too busy for anything real. I was 24 and thought I understood how life worked. Thought I understood how people worked, thought I understood myself. What I didn't understand, or what I had no idea about, it was how a single meeting could make the whole world tilt on its axis. I first saw her sitting near the back of the Café Tilde copyright, the one tucked between the florist and the bookstore on Oak Street. Her hair was pinned loosely, like she hadn't decided whether to dress formally or casually and just settled somewhere in between. She had a soft smile on her lips as she read her book with the brown leather cover. The sunlight from the window fell across her face, turning her expression into something almost cinematic. She looked a broken bar older, not old, never that, but mature, confident, self-contained. She looked like someone who'd lived a little more life than I had. Someone who'd survived storms I hadn't yet encountered, and for some reason, that made me stare. She noticed. Instead of getting annoyed or looking away, she smiled, a smile so warm it felt like it could melt the coldest part of a person. She closed her book, tilted her head, and said, "You're going to come over and sit, aren't you?" I froze, half embarrassed, half thrilled. Something inside me moved as some courage I didn't know I had. I walked over. "Yeah, I didn't mean to stare," I said, sitting across from her. "You did," she replied, smiling again, "but it's fine. I've had worse admirers." I laughed awkwardly. She didn't. "What are you drinking?" she asked. "Just iced coffee." "Good," she said. "Order me one too." I like when someone else decides for me once in a while. There was something about the way she spoke, calm, teasing, like she was perfectly comfortable with the world and her place in it, like she wasn't performing, like she wasn't pretending. Her presence made me feel light, a broken bar but also small, like I was a boy sitting in front of a woman who had already lived several chapters of life I hadn't even started yet. When I came back with the coffees, she leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand. "What's your name?" she asked. "Daniel." "Daniel," she repeated, as if testing how the name felt in her mouth. "I'm Aria." Aria. The name fit her like a melody fits a song. We talked for hours about books, about films, about dreams. She listened like my words mattered. She laughed at jokes I didn't even think were funny. She spoke about traveling, about losing people, about rediscovering herself. She spoke with clarity, with depth, with a softness that felt earned rather than accidental. When she mentioned her age casually, at 30, I almost choked. 8 years. It wasn't a chasm, but it felt like one. She had a life already shaped. I had one barely beginning. She seemed so sure I was still figuring things out. I couldn't stop doing the math, and not the numbers but the meaning. Where she had been at 24, what she had wanted, what she had learned, and suddenly, all the confidence I'd felt before evaporated. She noticed. "Something wrong, Daniel?" she asked, sipping her coffee. "Number." "Just a broken bar." "Thinking about what?" "You're 8 years older." She smirked. "Is that all?" "It's a lot." "For whom?" "For me," I admitted, embarrassed. "I just didn't think someone like you would." "A broken bar talk to someone like me." She raised an eyebrow. "Someone like me?" "I mean as someone who has their life together." "Someone won't?" She cut me off gently. "You think age gives clarity?" "Sweetheart, age just gives stories, not certainty." Her voice was soft, her eyes were deep, and in that moment, she felt less like a woman older than me and more like a soul speaking to another soul. But still a broken bar. The insecurity stayed. That night, when she stood up to leave, she placed her hand on my cheek so gently it felt like a whisper. "Walk me to my car?" she asked. I nodded. We walked in silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was charged, like the night held something fragile and electric. When we reached her car, she turned to me. "You're thinking," she said. "You make me nervous." I admitted. She smiled. Good. Then she leaned in, not to kiss me, not to tease me, but to whisper into my ear. Her breath brushed my skin so softly I felt chills down my spine. You think you're too young for me, she said, but you make me forget my age. My heart slammed against my ribs. I froze. She pulled back slightly, her lips still close enough to make my pulse race. You make me feel 20 again, Daniel, she whispered, and I haven't felt 20 in a very long time. Before I could respond, she kissed my cheek, a slow, lingering, meaningful "good night," she said, then got in her car and drove off, leaving me standing there like the air had been stolen from my lungs. I didn't sleep that night. The next few days, I tried to pretend I wasn't thinking about her, tried to convince myself the moment had meant nothing more than a fleeting attraction. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw her smile. Every time I caught the scent of coffee or perfume, I remembered the warmth of her whisper. Finally, I texted her. "Me, want to meet again?" She replied instantly. "Aria, I was wondering when you'd stop overthinking." We met at the park that time. She wore a white dress and a denim jacket. Simple, beautiful, effortless. We walked for an hour before she grabbed my hand without warning. "You're still nervous," she said. "Maybe." "Why?" "You know why." She stopped walking, turned to face me, and held my face with both hands. "Daniel, if I wanted someone my age, I would have found someone my age. But I don't want to waste your time," I said. "I don't want to hurt you." She laughed, softer and sad at the same time. "Sweetheart, my time is mine. If I'm giving it to you, it's because I want to. But what if you wake up one day and think a broken bar? What was I doing with someone so young?" She stepped closer. "Then that's my mistake to make, and my lesson to learn, not yours." Her thumbs brushed my cheeks. "Stop carrying fears that are not yours," she whispered. "Just be with me today, now, this moment." She kissed me then slow and deep, like she was teaching me something about tenderness I had never learned before. Afterward, she rested her forehead against mine. "You feel too much," she whispered. "That's not a weakness. That's why I like you." Our nights grew longer after that. We met more often at Café Tilde Copyright, at parks, at her apartment where the candlelight turned her face into something almost ethereal. We talked about everything: love, past hurts, future hopes, the weight of expectations. She told me her fears. I told her mine. She listened with patience. I listened with awe. Every time I doubted myself, she brushed the doubt away with one touch, one glance, one whispered truth. "You make me forget my age." She said it every time I hesitated. She said it when my hands shook the first night I touched her waist. She said it when I confessed that I didn't know what love was supposed to feel like. She said it when I told her I felt unworthy of her. "You make me forget my age, Daniel. You make me feel alive again." One night, after making dinner together, she sat on the balcony wrapped in a blanket while I watched her from the doorway. "You're staring again," she said without looking at me. "I know." She smiled. "Come here." I sat beside her. She leaned against me, resting her head on my shoulder. "I used to think love belonged to youth," she whispered, "that it faded as we grew older. But you remind me that love isn't about age at all. It's about feeling. And you make me feel like the world is new again." I swallowed. "I don't want to lose you." "You won't," she said, "unless you push me away." "I won't." "Good," she whispered, intertwining our fingers. And for the first time, I believed her. Weeks passed, and what started as a spark became a fiery, steady, warm, and real. She taught me things I never knew, not just about love, but about patience, communication, boundaries, affection. She wasn't just older, she was wiser. And I wasn't just younger, I was willing. Our worlds fit together, not perfectly, but sincerely. We laughed more, We argued sometimes, we made up even more beautifully. And every night when she whispered that same line against my skin, "You make me forget my age," yeah, I felt her soul reaching for mine. I once thought age defined compatibility, but she taught me age meant nothing compared to connection. And I realized something. I wasn't too young for her. I was exactly what she needed, just as she was exactly what I'd been waiting for even before I knew what waiting meant. The night I told her I loved her, she didn't say it back immediately. Instead, she cupped my face, pulled me close, and whispered those same words that had started everything. "You make me forget my age." Then she kissed me softly and added, "And that's what love feels like." And in that moment, everything made sense. Age wasn't our story. Connection was, and I know whatever happened, wherever life took us, I would never forget the woman who whispered a truth into my heart that changed everything. "You make me forget my age."